Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm not Malcolm Landgrab, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So essentially what I'm going to do is a current household video. This is a household I've been playing since like beginning of this year. It might look a little bit familiar to you because in my Sims 3 Legacy Challenge, we live in Monte Vista as well. Monte Vista is like probably my favorite world in the Sims 3. I do like the Island Paradise one and Sunlit Tides I like as well, but this one is definitely my favorite. We're sitting right here in front of a house. I'm about, I think, 6 generations into this family. So like, as I said, I've been playing it for quite some time. I want to show you where we live in Monte Vista. So if we zoom out here, this is sort of like the town center. I think in my Legacy Challenge, Liliana lives down here, and this family lives right here in this house, in this little area sort of on the outskirts of the town. I have done a bit to this house, but I'll get into that here in a little bit. But first, I just want to introduce you to the family. The family is called the Beauclair family. Okay, so in the Beauclair family, the oldest person is Donatella. Donatella is about to go. It looks like she is 89 days old. I'll get into them like specifically later on, but starting off is Donatella, and then we have, let me start the game so you can sort of see, and then we have Donatella's brother. This is Leo. You can't really see his face very well, but that is Leo. And this is Leo's wife. This is Rosaria. She was a townie, actually. Rosaria was a townie. So she's not like blood related to the family. She's just through marriage. And then Leo and Rosaria have a daughter. Their daughter is Nicoletta. I get them confused. I get Nicoletta and Vera confused because they were born on the same day, just like hours apart. So Nicoletta is daughter of Rosaria and Leo, and Vera is the daughter of Donatella, and Donatella was married to a man named Antonio. So that is her father, Antonio. I want to show you the house before it gets too dark. So I'm just going to show you around a little bit. The house is like 2 stories. There's a garage that's included. I turned it into, it looks like a 2-car garage, but there's 3 cars inside, so it's, I guess, a 3-car garage. So I expanded that. I did add on to the house a little bit. This is it. It's very pretty. It was one of the more expensive homes in the neighborhood, although this world has a lot of like really big houses. So there's one over here on an island. That one's really big. There are like these country houses. I think actually at one point we lived here. There's some houses just like around the neighborhood, like little farmhouses and stuff. And then in the city center, we have houses like, if you've seen my Legacy Challenge, you've seen this one, which is literally just like a giant house. It's sprawling. There's some really nice real estate in Monte Vista. The real estate is pretty expensive as well. I think our house, Lord, who knows? Who knows how much this thing was? I guess I could find out. It says the unfurnished value is 182,000. I think we bought it for like almost 300,000. So I guess the difference between that and this is how much we put into it. And everything depreciates in value as well, just something else to consider. But it's our, it's our family home. So it makes sense to me that we would be adding on, making additions, changes, and all those things. Sorry for that spiel there. The house was expensive. It was bought probably in the maybe 4th generation. So it was, we did definitely not start there. And I'm gonna get into the family and their history and all that here in a little bit. But first and foremost, let's just start. I'm not very good with the camera, but anyway, this is like the foyer. Over here is like a formal living room. They don't really go in here that much. Over here is the kitchen. I have redone this kitchen so many times. I literally could not stop redoing the kitchen. I couldn't get it right, and I'm still not sure if it's right. At one point it was like dark, like a dark wood, and then it turned into like a white cabinet situation. And I was like, no, this is like Tuscan farmhouse. This is not, we're not gonna have like modern, like beachy white cabinets. So then I turned it into this. Some of the appliances look weird. I'm not sure how I feel, but the family mostly eats out here. So out on the back side or over here. Let me take you back here. Again, this is the foyer where you walk in. To this side over here, we have a little office. It used to have a bathroom attached, but I took it out to put in an elevator. And I'm Not sure why I put in the elevator. I think at one point I wanted to add a basement. I was thinking like, dang, like 3 levels. That's too much to travel up and down the stairs like that. We got elders in here. So I put in the elevator thinking I was going to add the basement. I was going to put in a wine cellar, but I didn't do that yet. Anyway, so this is like another little hallway, like a big hallway with an elevator. And then there's this part, which is technically open, I guess, to the outside, like a little sunroom, I guess you would call it. And then this is the area where we often hang out. This is like the informal living room. We have a bar over here. This is where Leo's wife, Rosaria, does her painting. You can see one of the daughters is playing chess. We have the TV over here and the video game system. There's a full bathroom right there. So we're gonna come back over here and go up the stairs. Upstairs, okay, I've done a bit of work up here. You can probably tell because it looks like crap, but essentially what I've done is, okay, let me go out of here so I can point with my mouse. This room used to be much smaller. It was like this small. Okay. There was no bathroom attached to it as there is now. It's quite small, but there is one there. Eventually I extended it out and I added an extra full bedroom there with the full bath. And then I put the butler's room over here with the washer and dryer. Okay, so this is one of the bedrooms. It also has an attached bathroom, so it's an ensuite, I guess. And then over here, I really like this bedroom. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's like so much pattern. Sometimes I like when things look really busy. Anyway, it has a bathroom attached. And then if you walk outside across here, there's and then a bathroom there as well. So that is that. This entire hallway used to be outside and it extended to go back here. So I guess here is where the old bedroom used to be. Sort of the annoying thing is they would come up here to go to sleep and they would have to change into their winter clothes because technically they were going outside to go upstairs to their bedrooms. And when they would come out, they would have to change into winter clothes again. So that was sort of annoying. And I was like, we don't need this much outside space. I just closed it all off, basically. I'm not sure why I didn't close this part off while I was at it. I don't know. This is really, it is sort of like an indoor outdoor type of vibe with this house for sure. So that's all of the main house. And I guess next I'll just show you the garage. There's nothing really special here, but I do have these 3 super expensive cars. These are actually custom content from this person, Fresh Prince Designs or something. If you Google like Fresh Prince Sims 3 cars, you'll definitely find they have like a website where they post all of their CC. We got the Benz, we got the Tesla, we got the Rolls Royce. The Rolls Royce and this car were 200,000 simoleons each. 400 total. Literally unbelievable. I will show you right here. So that's the Mercedes that I have, 200. Oh, and the Rolls Royce is 185, basically 200. I mean, looking at these designs are awesome. Like, they look so good. Like, they look really realistic. Like, they have great, like, finishes or whatever. Yeah, they just look awesome. Fantastic. I wish I were talented like that. And then sort of going across the house, we have like a little maze with like a fountain. I don't think, sometimes they go back here to read, but we're usually never out here. Just a bunch of unused space, I guess. Over here is like a little fire pit, pool. I like how the hedges go all the way around. These dang paps is always out here taking photos. Get off the property, man. Sorry, back here, you can tell I'm very passionate about the paps. Back here we have a little hot tub and a treadmill and a weight machine. Now this room has changed so many times too. Originally, this is smaller and it was like, it had like a bathroom. I think it was just one big bathroom. Sort of like a pool house, right? Where you would go shower after getting in the pool. But I took that out, and at one point I had this as a little apartment for one of the Sims who was older. She was widowed or never married or something. I just made her a little apartment out here. She had a studio, so there was a place for a bed, and there was a little kitchen and like a desk, and then there was the bathroom. But I've changed this a few times. At one point it just was a big sauna. Is this like sauna from Sunlit Tides? I think it adds like a day onto their life every time they use it. I don't know for sure, but that's what I feel like. And recently the family started going to France a lot, so we had to get this. We turned it into like a little wine cellar. I feel like it doesn't look good at all, but I didn't want to mess with the basement thing. I always get so stressed out making basements in The Sims. I just turned this into like a little wine area. We have tons of wine in there, and then there's the full bathroom. Next, I'm just gonna let the game run. I feel like I keep talking, but this is a current household and this is all brand new to everyone, so I have to explain things. So let me tell you a little bit about the history of the family, and I'll just sort of move around between Sims while we do that. Basically, this family started out with a single Sim and her name was Violet. Violet was in the culinary career. She wanted to be a chef, and she was single, and we struggled for a long time. Violet lived up here in one of these tiny houses. It was like a tiny, probably this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one. It was like a tiny 2-story house in the city center. Violet lived there for a long time, but eventually Violet fell in love with her boss, actually, and his name was Gino. And if you're familiar with my Sims 3 Legacy Challenge, you know Gino because our founder also married Gino. And at the time, I didn't know Gino was literally loaded. He is so rich, dude. I think this is Gino's house in the game. He's a celebrity chef, so he has a lot of money, and he's like the most eligible bachelor in town. Although whenever the game begins, Gino's in a relationship with Jalissa Rivers, who's another townie. Jalissa's like a celebrity. Gino ended that real quick, and he got with Violet. They moved into Gino's house together. So they lived in the house together with each other. But then something really tragic happened because Violet, so she got pregnant, she gave birth, and she got this opportunity to fix a radio, and she tried to fix it, and she was electrocuted, and she died, which left the baby in the hands of Gino, who at this point was an elder. Gino's probably like 10 days away from elderhood at default, like whenever you start the game. If you're starting a new family in Monte Vista, Gino's gonna be an elder in like 10 days. That meant that Violet's daughter, Liliana, was left to be raised by Gino. And the big concern and the big fear I had is that Gino was gonna die when the daughter, Liliana, was just like a toddler or a child, and then she would get taken away, right? Thank God, I don't know how, Gino just kept living. That was the most amazing thing. He just kept living. Like, it was past, he got past 94 days old. He was like 95, maybe more. And I was even like, I was so nervous about that. I was even gonna have him study alchemy or something to like figure out how to extend his life because I didn't want it to end. Eventually, it was like the day after Liliana turned into a teenager, Gino died. So Liliana, the teenager, was left to live in that house all by herself. She didn't have any source of income or anything, any way to pay the bills. So that was a little bit scary. But Liliana was like a child genius. She was so smart. She had maxed out her logic skill, and I think almost maxed out the science skill. You guys are gonna think I'm so dumb, but I swear I did not know that if you use that science station and you click clone, I think the option was like clone DNA. And I clicked it, and the only option was Liliana, the teen. And she did it, and it gave us a baby. We literally had a newborn baby out of nowhere. I guess it was a clone of Liliana, right? I had no idea that was gonna happen. I guess I didn't think about it before I clicked it. Up until then, she was cloning seeds and stuff. And I was like, okay, this doesn't really do anything. But then we had Liliana, a teenager, living alone with an infant, which is a clone of herself, who we named Vivian. That was a pretty stressful period because she had to go to school and stuff. Thankfully, she was almost done being a teen, but I wanted to go to college. I wanted to do like the full thing, like live a pretty full life. But we couldn't go to college because apparently you can't have babies in college in The Sims 3 or something like that. She eventually grew up. Liliana became a doctor. So we were making pretty good money. I think at that point, I think we were living here. Yeah, for sure. It was this place. We were living here. So it was Liliana, so my founder's daughter, Liliana's cloned daughter, Vivian. And then eventually Liliana decided to adopt an actual child, like something that wasn't a replica of herself. So Liliana did adopt a daughter who's named Monroe. And Monroe was such a good little kid. Eventually, when they grew up, they went to college together and they got their degrees. So I was able to experience that. Liliana, I guess, was able to live vicariously through her daughter, who was able to go to college. So that was a really good experience. Basically, Vivian, the clone, became a musician. So I thought that was sort of funny. It was sort of polar opposites. Her mom was a doctor, right? Very logical, very serious, very by the book. But her clone became a musician, you know, creative, free-flowing, nonconformist kind of thing. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, she reached top of the musician career or music career. And then her adopted daughter, Monroe, went into law enforcement. I don't know if she maxed it out, but she got pretty high up. I just got sick of digging through people's trash cans and stuff all the time. Whenever Monroe was older, she met someone who lived in Sunset Valley, and the family decided to move to Sunset Valley. And we had a house there that was pre-existing. It was like the white one that was close to the beach, but I had to add like a whole second floor to it to fit our whole family. We stayed there for a couple years. You know, Monroe had gotten married, so she had really settled down. Monroe's, again, I probably missed this part, but Monroe's mom, Liliana, never got married. And Monroe's clone sister never got married either. They never really had any relationships their whole life. So in that way, it really was like Liliana and her clone daughter were exactly the same. They had no interest whatsoever in having romantic relationships with anyone. Sometimes, you know, Sims, if they're left to their own devices, they'll go out and flirt with people and find romance. But even if I just let them go about their own business, I never caught them flirting. They never had any romantic relationships at all. But the adopted daughter Monroe did. Like I said, she got married to the man from Sunset Valley. His name was Grady. I think he was a firefighter. Now, let me know if you know Grady in the comments. I had never heard of him prior to this. As I was saying, Monroe and Grady, marriage was good. Eventually, Monroe did get pregnant. She had 2 kids, twins. There was Donatella and there was Leo. Sadly, Monroe and Grady, her husband, got divorced. The family decided to move back to Monte Vista. So we were only in Sunset Valley for a little bit, sort of like off script here. One of the problems this caused is that I lost a lot of my family tree, because apparently it's a common thing in The Sims 3. If you move to a different world or neighborhood, whatever you call them, you can lose some of your family tree. So I did lose some of it. As you can see, this is Liliana, and this is Liliana's adopted daughter, Monroe. I don't know why it says they lived in France. We do have a house in France. They weren't born there or anything. Anyway, so yeah, this is missing 2 or 3 generations. After that, so that's basically what this household is. We have Donatella, who is Monroe's daughter. Donatella is an author. She loves writing. We make quite a bit of money from royalties. I think 50 or 60,000. Her brother, Leo, her twin brother, they have a really interesting relationship. Donatella and Leo, they've always been sort of competitive with each other. I think before, when I was doing the tour, I mentioned their awards. I think the awards they got when they graduated high school, Leo was valedictorian. He also won like most likely to rule the world or something like that, most likely to be the leader of the world. His sister Donatella, who's, you know, more creative, got most creative award. But anyway, they have a pretty good relationship. I think they get along well. I don't think I mentioned that Rosaria is a painter. She paints a lot and she's made a ton of money painting. I mentioned before that, you know, this is a very expensive property. The family is extremely wealthy. Even whenever I think about how rich they are, it blows my mind. And let me give some examples. I'm going to have Donatella here go to her phone and look at real estate and travel services and check real estate, because I want to show you exactly how many properties we own. This family's, they're worth over a million simoleons for sure, because that was some of their aspirations. Like some of them aspired for that down here, and we accomplished it for sure. So here's a list of properties we own. And of course, this was not done all at once. Like this happened slowly over time. We just, whenever we had that like disposable income, we were just like, okay, let's put it somewhere. We clearly don't need it, so let's put it somewhere where it'll make us some money. And that's why we started investing in these different properties beyond our own house, which is, as you saw, is a significant investment. It's worth 600,000 or 700,000 simoleons. We own all of these, including the big ones like the hospital, the Coliseum, which is the stadium. We have 3 vacation houses. We have 3 houses in France. So Leo and his wife, Rosaria, are obsessed with France. They go all the time. Because of that, we were able to get the Visa level in order to buy the vacation homes. We have a house that's 150,000 and then 2 others, because this house, although it's quite big, it's only 1 bedroom. So the bedroom occupies the entire 3rd floor of the house. So like the rooms are really big. So whenever the whole family comes, they can't all stay at their little chateau or whatever it is. They can't all stay there because there's not enough room. So we bought a couple other houses. This one was more of like, I don't know why we bought it. I think we bought it and then we were like, oh, well, this is cute, but like it's not big enough for the rest of the family. So we got this one, which has enough beds and everything for the other 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it'll be in the future. We don't plan on selling these houses anytime soon. So It does increase your bills though. So your bill amount, the bills you get every week or every few days or whatever it is, are more expensive because we have these extra houses. So this is, I guess I could add this up. So if I did the math correctly, all of these properties together, like in total, are worth almost 850,000 simoleons. So that plus, you know, the value of this house, which is like 600 something, they're worth more than $1 million. So I sort of sound like I'm bragging. This is not real life, of course, but like, I guess it sounds like I'm proud because I am proud of this family and like how much they've accomplished in a few generations. I mean, I know some people do it much faster than this. Some people are probably a little slower. I don't feel like I personally have ever accomplished this much in terms of like economic status in a Sims game, probably ever before. And you all know if you watch my series, like I never cheat, I never use motives or need cheats, never use money cheats either. Like I like the struggle, which is sort of what has surprised me about playing this family is that sometimes, you know, you're playing that family and once they reach a certain level of success, it's like, this is boring. Like, what else do I have to do? Right? I'm sure other people feel that way too. But for me, I guess the story of this family is so good and I like them so much. And also, I just kept making goals. Like anytime we accomplish something, like eventually once I bought, you know, most of the businesses in the town, I was like, let's get a vacation home, do something exciting and fun that we'll remember. Now that the family has reached, you know, what is now the 5th and 6th generation, I guess, they've had so much success, they don't need to like only focus on work all the time. You know, that's why we sort of have these non-traditional jobs. That's why she is a writer. Even though she does make a lot of money now, like it's not like a steady, stable job. And that's why Leo's wife is able to be a painter. And I think the girls, they're doing more traditional jobs at the moment, but I might do that. I might continue to pursue that. I'm just not sure. One is in business and one's in politics. The reality is they don't need to. Like they don't need to work at all, which is an interesting point to be able to get in this game, even whenever they have everything, you know? Like they still have a ton of stuff and they can still afford it all, like without any problem at all. Anyway, I hope my point made sense there. Just like the evolution of this family and where they started and where they're at now is just really cool. And I feel like I'm proud of them for just hanging on there and keeping it going. So if you all want, I can take you to France and I can show you our house over there and sort of like what life is like for us over there if you want me to. I guess I can go ahead and do that in this video. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and take you over to our place in France. I think I mentioned before Leo and his wife Rosaria go there quite a bit. We really enjoy going there. Leo's really into winemaking. He always gets like a ton of grapes when he's there because he has a wine machine at home as well. So he makes it at home too. Although our quality is not very good, we're getting there. It's just something he's, I guess, picked up in his retirement. They're actually staying at their other little house, sort of in the town center area. But this is sort of, I guess, the more expensive, the most expensive of the 3 houses that we have over here. I can just show you around a little bit. So down here, we just have like a little sitting area. It's just like a massive living room, I guess. Second floor, we have a little dining area. And then the kitchen is over here too. I like the floors that they put in this kitchen. At first glance, they look like the black and white ones, but I think it's like a dark green with the white. That's very cool. In the bathroom, I don't know if I mentioned that. And then up here, we have like a little office area, some bookshelves, a bathroom, and then this is the bedroom. So this is sort of what I meant whenever I said there's not enough room. Even though this is the largest house, there's just not enough space for the whole family to come here. So that's why we have the other 2 houses. Out here, I did add this on. That's probably why it looks out of place. But I did add on like a little garage here just so we could have a car to use whenever we're here instead of the scooter. Or this is in the front of the house. I don't know if you can still call it a courtyard, but this is very pretty. And then out here is a swimming pool. I actually moved this lot. This lot used to be in the middle of nowhere, like in the hills of France. But I like that it's sort of perched up on a hill over here, overlooking the town center area. I think for like a realistic gameplay element, we could be saying that like, oh, Monte Vista is Italy, so it's pretty easy for them to come over here to France because they're not super far apart in real life. So I guess it makes more sense for realism purposes that they come here more often than they do China or Egypt. Okay, and then his wife is over at, in some ways, the larger little house. I haven't done anything to this house whereas I have done some decorating in the other one. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's actually a fourth floor that I didn't show you all. So up here on the very top is the place where we display all of our finds, you know, from the treasures and stuff. So that's what that is up there. Now, taking you back to Rosaria, who's at sort of like our little compound at Beauclair Cottage, this one, and then we have another one, Dogwood House. So we have Dogwood House, Chateau de Beauclair, very fancy. And then we have the Beauclair Cottage. As I said, I haven't done anything to it, but it has more space and like more bedrooms and stuff. So the other one is very cute too. Like, let me show you Dogwood. Like, if you have a family who wants a vacation home, but you're not super rich or anything, I think Dogwood House, which is this one, is a really good option. I love that it's just right on this little river and it's cozy, you know? I'd almost prefer to stay here than like a massive house like the one we have on the hill. Funny story, at one point, the family owned this, and if you've ever lived here, you probably know why I sold it. A, the house is massive and it's just takes forever to get around. And B, it is so big and empty. The house doesn't come with, it comes with barely anything. There's like one bedroom that's furnished, I feel like. And I'm like, dang, I don't want to decorate an entire house on my vacation, right? We ended up selling this. Financially, I'm like, wait, was it smarter just to have this and to decorate it? Instead, we ended up buying 3 houses because we needed more space. I don't know what the smartest move there was, but I know that I like this house more. The other one is like a legit castle. I also really wanted this house. At one point, I was like, what do I have to do to get this house? But the way it's like marked on the map, it's not a residence. It's like a museum, essentially, the way it's marked on the map, because you go here for like the quests and stuff that they send you on. So I'm pretty sure I couldn't turn it into a residence even if I wanted to. Thank you so much for listening to me and letting me show you around my current household a little bit. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the Beauclair family, or if you want to tell me a little bit about one of your families that you play with. I would love to hear that as well. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you next time.